So what's up, guys? Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to show you guys what I like to do. So I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I love writing concepts and how I'd fix some shitty movies. I'm specifically looking at you, DCEU. I spend hours upon hours tearing apart their movies, how I do them differently, how I change the timeline. But today we're not going to be looking at a concept anywhere near as interesting as that, because that would be too long of a video and too long of a rant. But we're going to look at something just as fun. Today we're going to look at horror. Today we're going to look at my little mind as to how I'd make a horror movie from the ground up by borrowing elements and things from other horror movies to make a genuinely good horror movie. So, I want to put in a full disclaimer. I'm not a full-fledged fan of horror, but I do enjoy horror, and I can appreciate the classics that portray horror in an amazing light, such as the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That movie was genuinely fucking terrifying because they made it seem like it was real. With the snippets that they would put in and pushing it to be a real story, my kid mind couldn't process that it was just that, a movie. I believed it was a real thing. And even until a couple of years ago, my mom also didn't know that. She thought it was based off of a true story. Another great horror movie is As Above, So Below. It's an amazing horror movie that really takes a deep reflection on the characters and what they have done and how they come out to be a good person in the end, or a better person in the end. But I hate horror movies because of jump scares. Yes, jump scares could be executed well, but that's the problem. Jump scares aren't executed well. They're usually just a random noise and something flashing across the screen, and that's not really scary if it happens randomly. Not many movies build up that tension. Scary is tension, that feeling of dread, not knowing what's going to happen from minute to minute. And one movie that conveyed this really well is The Blair Witch Project. The reason I feel the Blair Witch Project did this well is because they imply something's there but never show you. It leaves it up to the imagination. You don't know what's hunting everyone down. Plus, the actors in the movie looked genuinely fucking scared. And the reason for that is because for a good majority of the movie they were. They didn't know what the director was doing. The director would mess with them by messing with their tents, throw rocks, and fuck with them throughout the night. And that's how I feel a horror movie should be. Having a sense of dread, having something scary, making you feel something. Not just jumping up and popping in your face and trying to be like, it's not scary. And on that note, let's finally get up into this fucked up rough draft of a story that I'm writing to make a horror movie. So, first things first, let's talk about the setting. I would base this in a forest of some sort because I feel that being lost in the woods is fucking scary. And that's because this is coming from experience. I have been lost in a forest on multiple occasions. Nature really is fucking scary. Another reason is because the forest conveys a sense of loneliness in a way that I can't really put my finger on with anything else. There is places that can convey this feeling, such as deserts and the ocean and just being by people's selves. But the forest does it in a way that is really odd because there is always something around. There's always a noise. But when that noise is gone, it's scary. Dread takes over. Fear is what's there. And that's because there's a reason for that silence. Whether it's known to you or not, there's a reason everything is quiet around you. Now that we have that, let's actually take a look at the forest itself. Now, I'm from the Northeast. I lived in Connecticut almost my whole life, but I have been out of state and seen some scary forests. And there are forests way bigger than the ones I've seen in North America. But I'm going to go with something up in the Northeast because I feel those forests are caught in a light that is something eerie, something only conveyed by the Northeast, and that's just because the history we have in the woods up here. We have a lot of weird things up in the forests. Now, the forest in question would be one that's kind of thick, overgrown, look like it hasn't been touched in a while. And the reason because of that is when you're in a thick and overgrown woodland, it messes with your sense of direction. You never know if you're going the right way because nothing is distinguishable from one another. One dead tree could potentially be another dead tree, and it helps stir that pot of insanity. What causes people to feel uneasy when they're not knowing where they're going. Gives you really a sense that you're genuinely lost because You don't know where you're going. It really scares you. Now, this wouldn't be an interesting story with just a setting and a plot, a lonely forest with nowhere to go. So let's actually talk about the types of characters that would appear in this story. Okay, so now I'm going to be honest. I know some of these characters would be stereotypes, but if I was to actually go in depth on these characters, I'd probably flush them out more if I worked on this a little bit better. This is just a rough concept I threw together in about 2 to 3 days because I saw a few horror movies and I kind of got into a kick about it. So let's get into it. There will be a group of people going out on a retreat. They will be friends. It's going to be a set of 4 friends. They're going to have a weekend getaway for old time's sake. We're going to make it known that this group of friends is very tight. It will be a very, very like friendly feeling. They've known each other for years. They're kind of used to each other. But it should be shown naturally, not through some ham-fisted dialogue saying, "Oh, I've known you for 10 years, Greg," da, da, da. Something like that. It would have to be shown because the connection, it's more of a natural feeling. It's something that feels real. It would be shown going to the trip and getting to the trip. Now let's actually talk about the characters of the group. Let's talk about the main character, who will be the primary focus for a majority of the movie. They would be a reluctant character. They would be someone who is adapting to the circumstances. They would be a mild-mannered person who tries to go with the flow. They wouldn't be someone who's really macho or very timid. They would be the person who likes to look at everything, see what's going on, accept what's happening in the situation. And everything would have to move at a natural pace. They couldn't be that person who instantly knows what's going wrong, make them omnipotent. There always has to be a sense of deniability from everyone. And that's how I feel a main character should be. Then there'd be a leader. It'd be the group's quote-unquote leader. The guy who always acts like they know what's going on, that they're always right, and they're kind of an asshole. You know that dude who will take your french fries, eat them, and be like, "Oh, sorry about that." Yeah, that dick. This person would be the denier and the skeptic and doesn't really want to accept what's going on to people until, well, it's already too late. Now, the next character that there would be is that friend who didn't want to go in the first place. That friend who tagged along in the journey because someone talked him to, or something really just switched and they're kind of reluctantly going. And yeah, I know, it's a stereotype, but it can be done well. There would also be that final friend who acts like they don't care about anything. That nonchalant friend who just shows up because they have nothing better to do. The one that is very haphazard with what they're doing and really doesn't take anyone else into consideration but themselves. That person who always forgot a pen in middle school, so you actually want to buying a second supply of pens just so that they could have something to write with. That would round out our main cast of characters, and I feel that we've already gone in depth enough for this video, and I don't want this to become a 20-minute video. So I'm actually going to cut this off here, and I will record a second part to this, and I'll hopefully upload it tomorrow, because I have things to do, and this is going to be a 2-parter. So I want to say thank you guys, and I hope I have you guys hooked from the beginning with the concepts I have out with the characters and setting and why I'm doing this, because I genuinely enjoy doing this. And if you guys actually like it and I get a good reception, I will actually do more, because I have concepts for things like this for actual movies that are out, concepts on how I'd fix certain things, comedies, action, somewhat dramas. I don't like dramas, but I can work on one if I really needed to. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. I know this isn't my typical content, but I do kind of want to branch out a little bit, see what works for me and see what doesn't. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, turn on that bell if you want to keep up to date with what I do. I'm live over on Twitch. You can find that in my About section. So have a good one, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate you watching.